Willie D Live.
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you represent. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube, after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. I'll let a few hundred of y'all come in, then I'm going in. But in the meantime, in the between time, I'll give some shout outs to the early birds, starting with Don, Chaos, what's up? What it do? Candy Crush, Sweet Beloved, Tiffany, The Proper Perspective, Dee Dee, I see you. What's up, Connie Hodge? Hello. Tiffany, what's up, Mona John? What it do? Divine Energy, what's up, Divine Energy? Randall Smith, Sandra Harrison, X Logistics, Chosen Warrior, LM, Michael Franks, Sue Steptoe, what up, Ronnie from Portland, Oregon? Big Mail, that's what I'm talking about. HBG, what's up, Shreveport? Barbara Jerry, Ken Knight, what up, Aaron Logan? What it do, Lisa Jones? M. Trendfield, what's up? What's up? I'm going in, fam. I'll come back to the comments. We got a lot to talk about today. And fam, let me just say this. You're going to love this. You're going to absolutely love this episode of Willie D Live. We got a whole lot to talk about. But before I go any further, let me pay my respects, fam, and say that I do extend a deep apology for coming on as late as I'm coming on, because I'm still kind of trying to figure out this time thing. Like it's taken me, actually, to be honest with y'all, it's taken me more preparation time to bring the live the way that I'm bringing it to you than I thought it would bring. I'm covering multiple stories, and I'm trying to get to the stories that I think that matter most to you guys. And so it's more work than I actually thought it would be, but it's very gratifying because these stories have to be told. Let's start off with this. Let's start off laying the list out with Marlon Wayans warning 50 about this Diddy documentary that he has out on Netflix. Then we got Donald Trump's, your president, friend, his Nazi friend, exposing him. Yeah, man, his Nazi friend has turned his back, and he said, no more held to Trump, or something like that, whatever they do. Also, we have a man who was killed in a taco truck in Houston, so a taco truck vendor. And the reason why I'm speaking on this one is because this does have national implications. So we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about the CIA, your CIA, using smart devices to spy on you. Yeah, I know you've heard about it, but I got some additional details here. So we're going to take a deep dive into that. We got two little kids, man, two teens in Florida who murdered a little girl who was 14 years old, and then set her body on fire. So they murdered her, they shot her to death, and then they set her body on fire. These are teenagers, man. Yeah, we're living in some very, very dangerous and wicked times. So we also have a police officer who thought that just because he was a police officer, he could do whatever he wanted to do to a guy who he pulled over for a traffic stop. Well, you learn the hard way that it don't always go the way that you plan, right? And then we got this little special needs kid using the N word, fam. This little kid that's like one of his favorite words. But this guy who videoed him he didn't actually video him using the word, but he videoed the aftermath of him using the word. And he started questioning the woman that was with him. And he went in and he went off on the little special needs dude, fam. You got to hear this story. And then we got Donald Trump, your president, slurring his words again. Yeah. The commander in chief, his cheese is slipping off of his omelet. Yeah, fam. But let's start off with this story about Marlon Wayans and 50 Cent and Diddy. So Marlon told Marlon told 50 to be careful what you put out. Yeah, he said, he's talked about karma. This is after, kicking a man when he's down. He's like, that ain't cool. So he stayed straight up, man, kicking a man while he's down, that ain't cool. Be careful, about making moves like that. So let me share my screen with y'all on this particular story. Should have had that ready, but again, here we go. So comedian Marlon Wayans, let me make sure y'all see what I see. Okay. Comedian Marlon Wayans, 53, has weighed in on the controversial The Reckoning documentary that has placed a brighter spotlight on numerous allegations of misconduct and abuse against disgraced hip-hop mogul and recording artist Sean Diddy Combs. As an executive producer of Netflix's The Reckoning, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson took his longtime rivalry and Diddy to a new level, by leveraging his entertainment industry power behind the 4-part miniseries. We still ain't forgot, okay, that's something different. A clip of Wayans appearing on the Cruise Show radio program was posted to social media on December 4th. During the interview, the Wayans brothers sitcom star was asked about the docuseries, suggesting that Diddy was involved in 2 of the most infamous tragedies in music history. Bay Area rapper Tupac Shakur and Brooklyn rapper Christopher the Notorious Big Wallace were unfortunate casualties of the so-called East Coast, West Coast rap beef in the 1990s. Diddy was the head of the Notorious B.I.G.'s Bad Boy record label at the time of the feud. Since Tupac's passing in 1996 and Biggie's passing in 1997, widespread speculation placed the blame for the respective homicides on Diddy. Wayans shared his thoughts on the scandalous rumors presented in 50 Cent's docuseries. He says, "I've known Puff for 30 years," Wayans told the radio personality Jay Cruz and his co-host, referring to one of Combs' many professional monikers. He was then questioned about the whispers of Diddy's alleged involvement in Pac being gunned down in Las Vegas and Biggie being gunned down in Los Angeles. Wayans responded, "Who's telling the story? You can create any narrative as a producer or as a director and as a storyteller. I can create a narrative," seemingly implying the Reckoning creative team could have had a specific agenda in painting Diddy a certain way. You're creating a narrative, it doesn't mean it's true, the former Howard University student explained. I can get interviews, I could get footage, and I could make you think this about that person. That doesn't necessarily mean it's true. He also mentioned the well-known issues between Jackson and Combs, saying 50 and Puff has a long-term beef. It's personal. On whether the G Unit boss was wrong for producing the new documentary, Wayans said, it's between him and Puff. It's between both of them and God. In addition, Wayans offered a warning to 50 Cent that fate could intervene and put him in his own troubling situation that plays out in front of the world. The New York City-born stand-up comic stated, you got to be careful what you put out. There's a karma to every action. All right, fam, what y'all think about that? Give me a thumbs up if y'all think 50 was wrong for putting out that documentary hit piece on Diddy. Give me a thumbs down if you don't think he was wrong. Thumbs up if you think he was wrong. Thumbs down if you don't think he was wrong. Thumbs down. Let me see what y'all saying. Let me see. Let me try to check y'all pulse right quick. Galatian says he was wrong. Angela up. Connie down. Straight paper up. What was that? I can't miss that one. Kahana down. Darren down. Peter Rabbit up. Val up. Jamar down. Barbara down. Ain't no way down. Sandra up. Mac up. Let's see. Pure down. Desire down. Duane down. Maurice down. Lamont up. So it seemed like, y'all are, it's close, but it seemed like the downs edges out the ups. So it looks like most of you believe that 50 was well within his rights to put out the documentary. Y'all think that 50 was right to put the documentary out. So let me get this off the screen and, well, you know what? Yeah, let me take this off the screen. My thoughts on this, fam. As an enemy to enemy, if it's an enemy to enemy, the art of war teaches you to crush your enemy, completely crush your enemy. No mercy. As a guy who studies war and conflict, I can't really say he's wrong for putting out the hit. He's an enemy. He's a sworn enemy. 50 look at Diddy as an enemy. On the flip side, I do get what Marlon is saying. You have to be careful about kicking people when they're down, kicking a man when he's down, because the same thing can happen to you. I don't know if that's karma or coincidence, happenstance. I don't know if that's just the way things go. But I do know that does happen often. A lot of times when you're dancing on people's grave, it comes back to bite you. So I don't know, how that'll play out. Don't even really know if when it come back to bite you, it came back to bite you because you did that particular thing. Maybe it was something else you did. Maybe it wasn't actually that, but I can guarantee you this. If 50 runs into any problems, if he runs into any legal problems, everybody is going to point toward that documentary as the reason why he ran into those problems. Everybody is going to be like, yeah, see that? You shouldn't have put that documentary about Puff out. See that? So I don't know. I'm not one to believe in karma, but I am one to believe in a reaction for every action. I believe in that. I don't necessarily believe in karma because there are people that's living in this country right now who have done some of the most wicked things imaginable. And them bastards are still breathing and laid out on yachts, eating caviar, got servants, having a time of their life, you know, flying first class, living first class, got the best health care, in perfect health. Then you got those ones who lie on little 14-year-old boys and get them murdered, and then on their deathbed they confess that they lied. They live to be well into their 80s, get to die peacefully in the hospital with reporters around. So many of them, so many wicked people who lived this life wickedly and did people dirty and told us that we gonna get our heaven when we die. But they had heaven on earth. They got to do whatever they wanted to do, and they lived any kind of way they wanted to live. And they were like, you know, look, you know, if you want to go to heaven, don't you dare fight back. If you want to go to heaven, don't you dare say anything bad about Massa now. You know, like two wrongs don't make a right. It's amazing, fam, how they pulled that trick off. It's amazing how they got us with that. Like, how you gonna do all of this just most evil, wicked things to me, but I'm supposed to take the high road, and both of us are supposed to end up in heaven. But if I fight back, if I exhibit any of your behavior at all, I'm going to hell. But you go to church every day and you pray to God. We praying to the same God, I assume, maybe not. But you going to heaven and I'm not. We both pray as much. We both talk about God all the time and heaven and doing the right thing. But while you talking about doing the right thing, you're actually practicing doing the wrong thing on a daily basis. But I'm supposed to always do the right thing. Well, you know, sometimes the right thing is sometimes what people consider to be the wrong thing. It's the right thing. It's the wrong thing for them. It's the right thing for you. Sometimes the wrong thing for them is the right thing for you. So you got to keep that in mind when people are transgressing against you. Yeah, you got to keep that in mind. Don't let nobody play you like that, man. Let nobody get over on you like that. I'm going to give a joker whatever they give me. I'm going to give them whatever they give me, and man, whatever they give me, that's what I'm. In fact, I'm not going to just give them what they give me. I'm going to give it back to them tenfold. I'm going to make them wish they never, ever, ever, ever crossed my path. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to sleep good when I do it. That's what they try to scare you with. Well, you know, forgiveness is not for them. It's for you. It's so that you can have a peace of mind. It's for you to sleep good. It's for you to go to heaven. Go to heaven. Everybody want to go to heaven. Nah, fam, I'm good on that. I'm good on that. I'm good on that getting pushed around stuff. I'm good on that. I'm totally good on that. We got another story, fam. We got another story out of Nazi land. Yeah, this is a story out of Nazi land. This is Donald Trump's Nazi buddy, Nick Fuentes, who called him out, basically saying, man, I don't trust you. He broke down exactly why Donald Trump is not America first and why his actions are hurting the country more than ever. Yeah, fam. Nick Fuentes. Let me give y'all a picture of him right quick. Hard to look at, but nevertheless, he is who he is. He's his mama's child, and ain't too much we can do about that. He is his mama's child. Let's see, Nick Fuentes. Here he is. 1, 2, 3. There he is. That's Nick Fuentes. So, Nikki, I like that. Nikki has a problem, a serious problem right now with Donald Trump. And he is calling Trump out on every level. Yeah, fam. Nick has publicly stated that he believes Donald Trump is a scam artist who is not right in the head and not sharp, and that the MAGA movement has been the biggest scam in history. Nick, a white nationalist and former Trump supporter, expressed his lack of trust in Trump and the MAGA movement through a series of criticisms in 2024 and 2025 after previously being a vocal ally. So what is Nick's main bones of contention? Well, they include Trump as a scam artist. Nick stated that when looking back in history, we will see Trump as a scam artist who served as a vehicle for this rather than the other way around. He says that Trump is not right in the head. He raised questions about Trump's mental state, describing him as a weird dude and an odd cat who seems to really not know what's going on. The MAGA movement is a cult and scam. According to Nick, he has called the movement Frankenstein's monster that has gone too far. He believes the liberals were right fundamentally about Trump's effect on institutions and that MAGA supporters were had. Now, I want y'all MAGA supporters to understand what's going on here now. This is Nick Fuentes, one of your greatest allies, one of the people who you used to get your information from on a daily basis to help you hate. Remember? This is the same guy. Policy disappointments. Nick criticized Trump for showing solidarity with Israel, for his handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files controversy, and for considering extending student visas to China nationals, posting that Trump 2.0 has been a disappointment in literally every way imaginable. Refusal to endorse a vote for Trump. Ultimately, Nick did not endorse a vote for Trump in 2024's election, partly due to concerns that a Second Amendment administration might be staffed by gays and Jews. Ooh, boy, he must really hate gays and Jews. He wouldn't take that power. He wouldn't go for that power. Nick said, I'm going to stick to my convictions. I hate gays and Jews, and I don't want them in the administration at all. And just because I think they might end up in the administration, I'm going to distance myself. Never mind the hatred for blacks, and never mind the corruption and the rape and the pillage of the national budget. Never mind all of that stuff. It's the gays and the Jews. I'm going to down that hill. Nick turned against Trump. Nick turn against Trump reflects a fracture within a segment of the far-right base, moving from an ally who dined with Trump at Mar-a-Lago in 2022 to an extremely harsh critic. Yeah, fam, they're turning on one another. They're turning on one another. Yeah, I like that. I like when they turn on each other. Yeah, fam. What happened here? Hold on. Yeah. Let's get that back. Okay. Yeah, I like it when they turn on each other, fam. I love it. I don't like it. I love it. I love it when they turn on each other. Yeah. Turning on each other. What a wonderful thing to witness when that happens. Let's see. Let me get this guy back on the screen momentarily, fam, because share Nick, Dick, Nick. That's funny, man. Look how he's looking. This is the guy that all of these white nationalists was following. They was following him. I think they may have been following him before they started following Charlie Kirk. Yeah. They were following this dude. They was hanging on to every word. They really, really loved this guy. Then all of a sudden, poof. All of a sudden it was over. All of a sudden, the party was over. And, now they don't rock with him anymore. They don't rock with Nick at all anymore. Now, don't forget, fam, the Trump administration, the Trump-Steen administration, actually, that's a perfect name for the administration, the Trump-Steen administration. Yeah. But let's be fair, fam. How did anybody in their right mind ever think that a billionaire could really care about regular Americans? It is my belief that they want mass chaos in the streets. They want mass chaos because the more chaos, the more chaotic that society is, the more control that they'll have, because you know why? We're going to be so afraid that we're going to sign over our rights. We're going to let them do whatever they want to do. We gave a substantial amount of rights away during the whole 9/11 episode. We gave so many rights away because they're going to protect us. We got to protect us, got to protect us, got to protect us. Fam, from who? From who? From whom? Listen, fam. Most of us, when we go to buy guns, when we put the alarms on our cars, when we put alarms on our homes, we're not putting those alarms on our cars and homes and businesses, and we're not buying guns to harm foreigners. We're not buying these guns to harm foreign enemies. We're buying these guns to harm Americans and to protect ourselves from Americans, the uncivilized mutt Americans. That's why we buy guns. That's why we put these alarm systems on our homes and cars and businesses to protect us from Americans. This is not to protect us from foreign enemies. Trump has turned out to be a disappointment for many Republicans, but not MAGA. MAGA is different. I just realized that MAGA itself is just a big disappointment. MAGA is the Scrooge of society. MAGA are maggots. They're different. They're different from just regular Republicans. Now, the regular Republicans ain't too far away because they still voting for this dude. They're still standing by him. They still support the party. So they ain't too far away. They're not too far away. They talk about crime prevention. They talk about all the things that are bad with society. At the same time, their president is guilty of promoting all the things that are bad about society. Stealing, lying, killing, scamming, being disrespectful, rude, all of the things that they say they don't like. The president is guilty of. Their president. Here's the deal, fam. And this is why I'm not buying this whole thing about the Republicans who say they didn't know. MAGA who says they didn't know. You knew. You knew. You didn't get fooled. He didn't scam you. You didn't get fooled. You knew exactly who he was because he told you who he was. He already told you, I'm a transactional president. Whatever y'all need me to do, man, just keep me in power. You want me to bring the hammer down on somebody? Okay, I'll do it. Just keep me in power. Whatever I got to do to maintain power. And y'all enabled him. Y'all continue to cheer him on. You didn't get fooled. You knew exactly what you were doing. You knew exactly what he would do. What you're trying to do when you go out there with your crying and all that, you're trying to save face. You're trying to act like the victim. Now, who's playing the victim? Because y'all love to talk about how, ooh, look at that. They're professional victims. Look at them. Look at the blacks. Victims. They're always victims and victims. Now, who's the victim? I'll wait. Professional victims. How did you guys get fooled 2 times? Actually, 3 times. You voted for him 3 times. How did you get fooled 3 times? You didn't get fooled. You knew exactly what you were doing. You knew exactly. Yeah. Politics, fam, is nothing more than class warfare. That's what you have to understand. All you poor whites out there, y'all think y'all special. You're not special. You're pawns. You're being used just like everybody else. If you was not a pawn, you'd be doing better in life. Yep, somebody had to tell you. Yeah. If you were not a pawn, you would be doing better in life. You're not doing better because of your politics. You're not doing better because you're being fed an empty spoon of lies and you keep on swallowing it, hoping that you get full. And you are getting full of shit. That's what you don't realize. You're getting played just like everybody else. This administration has a lot of voters saying that they wasted their vote. They're saying that they wasted their vote, they got tricked. No, you didn't get tricked. You didn't get tricked. MAGA is dead now. MAGA is dead. Okay? MAGA is going to be one of those movements that's going to fall like off into a footnote of history. And people are going to talk about it as one of the worst movements ever and one of the biggest failed movements ever. One of the biggest failed movements. You got to be slow to follow somebody that's slower than you. You got MAGA people throwing their hats in the garbage. You got MAGA people standing in food lines. You got MAGA people committing suicide. You got MAGA people leaving the country. They're so ashamed they can't even face, they can't even face the critics. They're leaving the country. Like, I can't take it anymore. But yet, they're still raising their children the way that they were raised, to hate. I think Donald Trump considers his ego to be the most precious asset that he has. You got immigrants who flooded the gates at voting booths to vote for Donald Trump. Have y'all seen all of these Somali immigrants who went out and voted for Trump in Minnesota? I mean, it's like thousands and thousands and thousands of them. I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't know it was so many of them that was actually thinking that way, that Donald Trump was their savior. I guess they had that attitude that they wasn't black. I'm not black, I'm Somali. I'm not black, I'm Somali. Good golly, Somali. Good golly, Somali. He got you. He got all y'all. He got all of y'all. Let's switch gears, fam, and talk about this guy who was murdered, who owned a taco truck in Houston. This is an extremely sad case. Check it out.
At this time, that there were two Hispanic males wearing ski masks on their face that left the scene in a white sedan.
A taco truck worker is dead after being shot inside of his family-owned taco truck Thursday night. Now Houston police need your help finding the suspects. The shooting happened around 11:30 p.m. on West Dinah Drive in North Houston. When police arrived, they found the 40-year-old victim inside the taco truck with multiple gunshot wounds. His family discovered him first after being concerned when they couldn't reach him around closing time. Police are now looking through surveillance video to try to find any evidence that can lead them to the masked suspects. Anyone with information should call the Houston Police Department.
So here's why I wanted to talk about that, fam. My brother owns a food truck, and we just had this conversation last night about him running that food truck and how dangerous it is. Now, he got it on him. He keep it on him, right? But you can have it on you and still get downed. If somebody get the drop on you, you're going to get, that's what it is. So it's a whole lot of people who died who had it on them. Somebody get the drop on you, that's it. So as I was telling him about in regards to these food trucks and stuff, when you're operating a food truck, you're very vulnerable. You have to look at it kind of like how you would look at owning or working at a retail store that's not in the mall, right? Where anybody can walk in and just open the door and then do something. It could be even a barbershop, even a clothing store, any place where you can purchase products and services, especially if you're dealing with cash. You are vulnerable anytime somebody can walk up to that door and just open that door and walk in. A stranger could just walk up to that door and walk in without being buzzed in, without identifying themselves or anything. They can just walk right in. You're vulnerable. When I was a young youngster, right? I may have been about 19, 20. My cousin used to work at a convenience store. And he asked me to come and sit with him a few times. So I'm thinking at that time, I ain't really have a lot to do. And he worked the night shift. And I'm in between jobs, like the regular ghetto boy. I'm in between jobs. So I ain't really got nothing to do. So I go and sit with him. And also, I'm thinking like, hey man, I got Action at free chips and give some pastries and something to drink and whatever. It should be cool, So I sit in with him a couple of nights. After the second day, I stopped. I didn't come back, and he wondered why. And I told him, look, man, we're too vulnerable, man. We're sitting up in here and people just walking through, all kinds of people. And each time somebody walk through, I'm looking them up and down. I'm trying to see. I'm looking, I'm checking the movements and stuff and everything. I'm looking, I'm like, man, we can get our heads knocked off in here. And also he wasn't behind any type of plexiglass. Somebody could just point, boop, boop, and we out. So I'm like, no, man, I can't do this, bro. I'm not going to be able to do this anymore, man. I don't like being vulnerable like that. He eventually quit, but I felt vulnerable because I know too many instances where people have killed store clerks. My younger cousin is in prison right now for killing a store clerk. Yeah, in a robbery. Now, according to him, he didn't know, he didn't pull the trigger. And the other guy saying he pulled the trigger. He's saying the other guy pulled the trigger. I don't know. I do know that he was a shooter, but I don't know if he did that. In any event, they gave him a gang of years, fam. A gang of years. And guess how much money that was allegedly taken? Take a wild guess. You'll never guess. Y'all ready? Zero. Nothing. No money was taken. Whoever did the shooting, I guess they panicked and they took off running. So they got what? I know my cousin got 45 years, and he was at the time 15. And the other youngster got somewhere around 30 years or something. So for nothing, just threw all that away, just threw it away. Couldn't even go and witness his mama being put to rest. Just out there wilding, doing dumb stuff. Playing with guns, running around with guns. That is a bad combination. Somebody with a bad attitude, and you're young, you got a bad attitude and a gun. Yeah, something bad gonna happen, and something bad did happen. So if you have a store, fam, you have a storefront, you have a brick and mortar, anything, you have a taco truck, any type of food truck, whatever, take all the necessary precautions you can. I'm not going to tell you not to have it. I think it's very dangerous. It's a dangerous way to make a living, but what can you do? What can you tell a person if you ain't got a better way for them to make a living, right? So I would just warn you, caution you to be very careful out there, because there's a lot of nuts out there. Now, this guy, I do not believe was robbed. He wasn't robbed. These guys ran up on him and just started shooting. So this is deeper than a robbery. This looks like a hit. That looked like a hit because they walked right up to him and started shooting. So that looked like a hit. But again, you're still vulnerable. If you have enemies, they know where you are. They know where you are at all times. when you are running, so you have the unfortunate dichotomy of having to deal with perceived enemies and arbitrary robberies. You're dealing with, somebody who could just come in randomly and try to rob you and kill you. And you're dealing with people who might target you if you, get on their bad side for whatever reason. It could be something that has to do with some type of romantic relationship or whatever. It could be you owe somebody some money. You said something slick to somebody before. Maybe you got into an argument with them the last time that they came to buy some products or services from you. It's too many ways. So you're very vulnerable. So if you're going to do business with the public, you really have to, for starters, have a good attitude. Just for starters, have a good attitude, pack fair, treat people right. Treat people right, pack fair, do good business. That right there will probably take care of 99% of any problems that you could have. By you just having a good attitude and having good energy, you could probably avoid 99% of all that drama. You are extremely vulnerable if you are inside of a business where the public have access to you and any stranger can walk in at any time. You're extremely vulnerable. They know where you are. Sometimes they know what time you get to work. They know what time you get off. So all they got to do is just sit around and wait. Just wait. And you coming. You checking in. Let's say you was off on that day. Well, they just come back the next day. Oh, let's say you took a vacation. You're off for 2 weeks. Well, they just come back in 2 weeks. They just come back until they see you. It's just bad business. It's bad business. So be very careful out there, family, because it's easy. It's too easy, to get your head knocked off when you're dealing with the public. Again, this appeared to be a hit to me. This guy who owed me money. He got his head knocked off because not only did he owe me money, he owed some other people money. Now, here's the thing. He provided some services to me, and he didn't finish. So let me back up. He didn't really owe me money. He owed services. He owed me services. And I had a balance, where I was, supposed to pay for all of the services. So I'm thinking, I don't want to have to bring somebody in new to finish the job this guy started. I want him to finish the job. But he got to a certain point and then he just stopped and started avoiding my calls and everything. But this is why when you do business, you never want to put all your money up front. You never want to give somebody, especially when you're dealing with contractors and stuff like that, you never want to give all the money up front. You always want to save enough money for that balance. Whereas if they don't do the job, you can hire somebody else to do the job and pay them and not lose any money. You want to make sure you do it like that. And that's the way I did it. But I was really frustrated and angry with him because he started a job that he did not finish, but somebody finished him off because I found out that he had, owed some other people some money. And all they did was followed him from his job. They knew exactly where he was. They just followed him and pulled up on him at his house when he was, going into the house. And they downed him. So you got to be very careful out there. Pack fair, fam. Pack fair. Just try to, I ain't saying be no sucker now. I ain't saying be like that. If it come down to you, do what you got to do. But just pack fat, and that'll solve, most of those type of situations. I did not catch the guy's name who was murdered, but RIP to him and condolences to his family. Let's get into this government technology, fam. We got the CIA. The CIA is being accused of spying on you. Yeah, did you know that? Well, most of y'all know. Y'all know already. Y'all know the CIA be looking at what you got going on. And y'all also know that these internet companies, these phone companies are part of it. They just actually, a lot of them just turn your information right over. They just turn the information right over to the police. They turn your information right over to the CIA. So let's get into this story. And this actually is a story from 2017, but I want to bring it back to your attention because there's a lot of lawsuits and things going on right now around this case. And people, they're snitching. They're snitching. People in the CIA, former CIA agents are snitching. So we got the Central Intelligence Agency may be using everyday devices from your phone in your pocket to your television to your bedroom to spy on people at home and abroad using sophisticated hacking tools and software, according to a trove of documents released Tuesday by WikiLeaks. The Government Secrecy Organization's data dump, which contained nearly 9,000 pages of purported internal CIA documents, indicated that the spy agency had gained access to Android and Apple smartphones, Samsung smart TVs, and internet-enabled cars using a variety of tools. WikiLeaks, which did not identify the source of the information, said Tuesday's release was just a part of the documents it had obtained, and that it also had the underlying code the CIA used to carry out cyber attacks. Can you believe that, man? We be worried about cyber attacks from hackers in India and Asia, and all alone, family, all alone, the attacks are coming from our own CIA. Come on, fam. That can't be true. I don't believe it. The data did not indicate how many devices had been compromised or name any specific targets of CIA cyber attacks, though dozens of device-specific vulnerabilities and attacks were named in the leak. While the technology companies whose products were cited in the documents scrambled to identify and patch security holes, experts warned that the leak may do more than compromise government operations. It may open people up to attacks from criminals or other countries aiming to exploit the same vulnerabilities to collect private data. Can anyone say the Russian hacking and fixing the election of 2016? Can somebody say that? Well, anyway, the Chronicle, this is San Francisco Chronicle, could not identify, independently verify the authenticity of the documents, though several cybersecurity experts, some with previous government experience, said they appeared legitimate. Among the more unsettling revelations in the leaked documents was the indication that the CIA had found a way around even the most secure communications apps, which encrypt communications in such a way that no third party can access them. Signal, developed by San Francisco nonprofit Open Whisper Systems, and WhatsApp, which is owned by Facebook and widely used by refugees, migrants, and those traveling abroad, were among several apps whose messages were compromised. According to the data released by WikiLeaks, CIA hackers found a way to break into smartphones and read or listen to messages in real time before the communication could be encrypted by the apps transmitting them, according to the documents. Downloads of encrypted messages apps like Signal have spiked since Donald Trump won the presidency. How is that so? Donald Trump is the president of law and order. How is it that the downloads of encrypted messaging apps like Signal have spiked since his presidency? He's on the job protecting us. How is this possible? Intelligence experts have attributed the spike to widespread concern among activists, whistleblowers, journalists, and marginalized communities about how Trump might use the nation's intelligence apparatus to target them. On Tuesday, many took to social media to fret over the extent to which messaging apps that they believed secure may not be. Okay, I don't have to read all the rest of this. Y'all know what it is, fam. Y'all know what it is. But let me tell you something else, fam. Let me tell you something else. Check this out. Let me put you up on game. The CIA is so savvy. The tools that they have are so good that they can tap into your car while you're driving. They can tap in to your computer. Most of our cars, the new cars now have some type of computer or AI assistant, right? They can tap in to your car's computer and force you off the road. They could force you over a cliff. They could force you to drive directly into a tree. They could force you to drive directly into an 18-wheeler car, or an 18-wheeler truck. Did you know that? Think about it, fam. If you can, think about what Tesla does right now. The Tesla cars are automated, and some of the other cars out there are automated, right? Those cars pretty much go wherever the computer tells it to go. If the car says, if that thing was programmed to drive directly into an oncoming 18-wheeler, it would do it. So now, guess what, fam? Let's say you got a rogue agent or some rogue agents who decide that they want to take somebody out. Well, now they ain't gotta have a shooter over here, go find a patsy and put a shooter over here and a shooter over here and perfect timing and all this. All they gotta do is, and you just run right into an 18-wheeler. Do this here, and you just run right off the bridge into a lake, right into a lamp pole. They can do it. That's scary, man. That is scary. But that's where we are. And it's going to get worse. So yeah, now they don't have to do all that sneaky stuff to get you. They don't have to come through and they don't have to pay a journalist to go interview you and stick you with some type of a cancer agent. They don't have to do that. They can just control your car and boom, you out, you gone. And nobody would be the wiser. Who would they blame it on? They're going to blame it on human error, or they'll just blame it on the car malfunctioning. They're going to blame it on human error or the car malfunctioning. And it's going to be over. Case closed. Nobody will ever question it. Oh man, we're in trouble, man. We're in trouble. We are in trouble. And we did it to ourselves. We did it to ourselves. Whoo, man. The CIA. Oh man, yeah, we're in trouble. Other news, fam. You know what, man? Let me just say this. Let me close by saying this about the CIA. They have the ability to tap into our phones, to listen to us through our phones and laptop cameras, right? Some people think, well, you know, I don't care if they listen. My life is boring. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. Imagine you find the cure for cancer, fam, and your car suddenly starts driving to the nearest bridge. Imagine somebody within the CIA decides, we got to take out a certain amount of people. We're going to arbitrarily take out a certain amount of people for whatever reason, you know, because they have different reasons they want to do stuff. They have different reasons they want to kill people, take people out of existence. You know, they got, you know, they've done it before many, many times. So if they want to do something like that, it doesn't matter that your life is boring. You might just randomly become one of the people who are picked. I want you to think about that, because a lot of times when we start thinking about, well, why would they want to kill me? I ain't nobody. I'm just a little old person. I'm just no normal person with a normal job. Whew, man, y'all don't understand, fam. You know, they still saying in regards to 9/11 that was staged. They're still saying that a lot of people died, a lot of innocent people died, and those innocent people were targeted because they needed that war. They're still saying that. A whole lot of innocent people just trying to make it, just trying to get through the day. A lot of them people died. A lot of people perished. A lot of people, thousands. A lot of innocent people died on those planes when those planes went down. A lot of regular people, just normal people. There wasn't any dignitaries. As far as I know, not one dignitary died. There was not one dignitary inside of the Twin Towers when the planes hit the Twin Towers. Think about that. So, yeah. 2001, y'all remember that, the Patriot Act. We did it to ourselves. Family, let's get into this story about these two teens, these two youngsters who murdered a young girl, a 14-year-old girl. We got two youngsters who murdered a 14-year-old girl. You get to pick up these guys up. Let's see. Can I get a pick? Can I get a pick? You know what? Let's see. So here's a pick of these guys. Let me stop right there. Let me do this. Move that over there. Bring that in right here. And share screen. Let's see. This one, boom, there you go. There they are. Two killers, fam. Two teenage killers. Teenage killers. Boy, these two kids are charged in the brutal murder of a 14-year-old girl in Northwest Florida. Charged with the murder of a 14-year-old girl in Northwest Florida. This is cold-blooded, man. This is ice water cold-blooded. So this happened specifically in Santa Rosa County. Two PACE teams are behind bars accused of brutally murdering a 14-year-old girl. 16-year-old Gabrielle Williams and 14-year-old Kamari Blevins are both charged with first-degree premeditated murder. The victim was identified as 14-year-old Danica Troy. Her mother reported her missing on Monday. One day later, her body was found. One of the biggest questions still unanswered: why? Well, according to the arrest report, a witness told deputies Blevins and Williams planned this attack. Troy was found shot multiple times and then set on fire on a walking path near Kimberly Road in Florida town. The crime scene tape is still up off Kimberly Road. Sheriff Bob Johnson said Danica Troy was lured by Blevins and Williams. According to the arrest report, Troy's mother reported her missing Monday. She says the girl took her electric scooter with her. On Tuesday, a man walking on the wooded path found the body badly burned. Investigators say they identified her as Troy based on the shoes she was wearing and the scooter found nearby. The arrest report says a witness told investigators Williams and Blevins planned the murder. The report states that Blevins told deputies he and Troy had a falling out on social media. There you go, fam. Once again, social media, running that trap on social media. They beefing on social media. So they had a falling out before Thanksgiving break, and he blocked her on social media. Deputies also interviewed Williams, who told investigators Troy made comments that upset him. Williams shared more with investigators, but that conversation was redacted from the report. They have been interviewed, but the motive that we're giving doesn't fit the forensics or any facts of the case, Johnson said. As for how the two got the gun, Sheriff Johnson said Williams stole it from his mother. Johnson says at the time, no charges are being filed against the parents. Investigators are working to determine a motive. This is what the major crimes call a ground ball, Johnson said. The evidence pointed to them immediately. They took them into custody immediately. Now, unfortunately for the Troy family, they have to go through this. Both Blevins and Williams are now in the Santa Rosa Juvenile Detention Center. The state attorney's office says it will present the case to a grand jury to determine if the two should be charged as adults. The Santa Rosa County School District, you got Santa County District School District, released a statement in response to the murder. Santa Rosa County District Schools is deeply saddened by the tragic loss of one of our students. Our hearts are with the family as they face an unimaginable loss. We have been notified of the arrest of two students in connection with the off-campus incident. You see how they make sure they say off-campus? Make sure they try to make sure that they're not included in this. We are devastated by this situation and are fully cooperating with law enforcement as their investigation continues. Additional counseling and support services are being made available to students and staff at the affected school. Due to the ongoing investigation and to protect the integrity of the process, we are unable to provide additional information at this time. You know something, fam? You know, having these counselors available for students when stuff like this happens, it's a good thing. It is a good thing to have counseling and support services. But I think these counseling and support services need to go a step further. I think it would be dope if they had counseling and support services when these type of things just happen to people in the neighborhood. There should be free counseling and support. when a murder happens in the neighborhood, people just kind of go back in their houses, or they just stand outside and they talk about it. Nobody ever really talk about the psychological impact witnessing murder, witnessing a body on the ground, witnessing a stabbing, a shooting have on the people in the community. I think a lot of times people just assume that if they live in a community where a lot of violence happens, then they must be part of the violence. They must be part of the problem. Not so. Most people who live even in the hood, unbeknownst to some of you people out there who ain't really got too much up top, are not criminals. Most people who live in the hood are hardworking, law-abiding, progressive people, progressive residents. Most. It is the few that makes it bad, that makes it hard. Everybody is not a gang member. Now, I'm sure depending on what city you end up in, there's a higher concentration of gang members. But even in gang territories, most people are not affiliated with gangs. But let them tell it. It's a different story. I think that they should have counseling, free counseling and support available for people in neighborhoods where violence happens often, or even if it happens at all. Even if it happens in a suburban neighborhood, you find out, that your neighbors were killed, there should be some counseling for that, and it should be free. Especially if you witness it, if you see them lying out, if some kids see something like that, especially kids, you see that people lying out on the street like that, it does something to you. I think a lot of times what they try to do with our kids is they try to get our kids acclimated to trauma early on. This is why they like to try to put cuffs on our children. They try to put handcuffs on them. If they get called to the school, the kid is unruly, they show up to the school and they put handcuffs on a 5-year-old. The kid's wrist is so small, the cuffs can't even stay on. Cuffs slip right out. So, yeah, I absolutely believe that there should be some counseling for these kids. We should not normalize trauma. Yeah, we should not normalize trauma. We should not get to a point in our society where we become desensitized to murder. That's not normal. So these youngsters just threw it all away. They just threw it all away. All away because they had a falling out online. A falling out online. They threw their whole life away. Absolutely mad. Absolutely madness, man. They just destroyed 3 families. 3 lives and 3 families. Try your best, man. If you find that family, if you find any of y'all youngsters out there listening, man, don't talk about it, be about it. Stop all that talking. Get offline making threats. Stop talking shit online. You're going to get yourself hurt. Everybody ain't playing. If you look at these boys, these teenagers, neither one of them if you just want to try to put a face on a killer, they don't just look like killers. I mean, I know you know that anybody can be a killer, but I'm just saying, if you just you know, just looking at them, they don't just look like no real threats. They don't look like terrorists. They don't look like terrorists. Man, anybody can give it to you. Most of those little youngsters out there that be going into those schools doing all that shooting, they look very non-threatening. They don't look like they could do anything. A lot of them little youngsters be getting bullied. Next thing you know, they're responsible for killing 30 people, 20 people, 50 people. Stop talking that shit. Stop running your mouth online. Stop talking about what you're gonna do to people. Stop talking slick about people. Stop all that tough talking online, because everybody ain't playing. I bet you most people, these two right here, most people, if they was talking, if they were communicating with these two right here, most people would feel very confident in their ability to win the argument. They would feel very confident in the threats that they hurl. Like, yeah, I ain't gonna do nothing, ain't gonna do nothing. And look at that. I visited death row in Huntsville, Texas, years ago. And most of the people I saw on death row were under 5 feet, under 5'9". Most of them. Little bitty dudes, killers. Now they got to deal with it. And here's the thing. The chances of either one of them having a good, healthy, productive life post their convictions, it is extremely hard to adjust to civility when you grow up in prison, when you have to become a man in prison. Because you're going to go to prison, and in most cases, you're going to learn all the wrong things from all the wrong people. Many of these guys, when they get to prison, these guys more than likely are not going to find someone who will protect them. They're not going to find someone who say, hey, youngster, come with me. I'm going to make sure ain't nobody mess with you. I'm going to make sure nobody get on you. Most dudes, if they say that, they're going to be like, I'm going to make sure nobody mess with you. And they're going to mess with them. They're going to violate them. They will be violated. Most guys are not going to help them. They're going to prey on them. Just like most people in the neighborhood, most gangsters, most killers and thugs and gang members, they prey on the young people that they should be looking after. They prey on them. They don't protect them. They prey on them. And more than likely, this won't be any different. They'll probably get preyed on. And they're going to learn all the wrong things. More than likely, they'll learn all the wrong things. And then they're going to get out, and all they're going to do is try to become a better criminal. I know dudes who have been to prison 3-4 times. Each time they get out, they try to become a better criminal. In their mind, the only reason they got caught is because of this. If they had not been with this guy, they wouldn't have got caught. If they wouldn't have drove in this car, they wouldn't have got caught. If they could have gotten rid of the mask, they wouldn't have gotten caught. It's always something that they missed. And they always put it on somebody else. Like something happened because they was dealing with this person right here, or that person, or that person. But if they wouldn't have done that, man, they'd be home free. Yeah, it's a whole lot of dudes who are in prison right now, and all they can think about is getting out so they can do whatever it is that put them in there in the first place better. They trying to be better dope dealers, better killers, better rapists, better embezzlists. Is it embezzlement? What is it? Embezzlist? You know what I'm talking about, fam. But fraudsters. They're trying to be better fraudsters, right? That's what it is. So they have an uphill battle. They're going to have an uphill battle, man. And prison ain't even for human beings. Prison really ain't for embezzlers. There you go. My word. My bad. There you go. Embezzlers. Appreciate you. IMHTP. Embezzlers. Yeah. I said embezzlist. Embezzlers. Yeah. They're going to try to become better embezzlers. Yeah. So that's how that goes. That's how that goes. So there are no winners here, man. There are no winners. There are no winners here at all. These guys are going to, and here's the thing too, fam. Not only do they have to worry about other inmates preying on them, they have to worry about the prison staff preying on them. Yeah. You know, just like pedos get jobs in education, in the clergy, they get jobs at camps, youth facilities. They get jobs at youth facilities and detention centers so they can get closer to their prey. Yeah. And it's a whole lot easier to get away with it when you got the keys. It's a whole lot easier to get away with it when you know where all the cameras are. And you can turn the cameras off and turn them back on when you feel like it. Yeah. It's a lot of predators who work in youth facilities. A lot of predators work in detention centers and youth detention centers. A lot of predators work in prisons. A lot of predators work in jails. A lot of predators work in the courtroom. Yeah. It's bad, man. It's a cold game. It's a cold game. Family, let's get into this story right here, man. We got this police officer who apparently didn't know that he was dealing with somebody who did know their rights. Check it out.
Hypocrisy at its finest.
Okay. License, registration, proof of insurance.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Because now you're in.
No, I'm
Yes.
doing nothing. If you're going to start this, if you're going to start this, get your sergeant over here.
License, registration.
Get your sergeant over here.
License, registration.
Get your sergeant over here.
License, registration.
Get your sergeant over here.
License?
No, I ain't giving you. Get your sergeant over here.
You pulled over on a traffic stop, so you had to.
I didn't pull over on your traffic
Yes, you
stop.
did.
I pulled over here because I had to answer my phone.
No.
Yeah,
License,
that's exactly why. You're not getting from me. If you're going to keep this up, get your sergeant out here.
License, registration.
You
proof of
ain't getting
insurance.
shit from me.
Okay,
You
then
ain't getting shit from me.
Then now you're obstructing, and
No, I'm
taking you to
not.
jail.
Obstruction is a physical.
No, it's not.
Look, dude, you better get your sergeant out here,
Now you're
okay?
verbally assaulting
Get your
me.
sergeant out here.
License, registration,
Hey,
proof of insurance.
I can do that. I can tell you to off. That's the First Amendment. If you got a problem, get your sergeant out
License,
here.
registration,
You ain't
proof of
getting from me. Get your sergeant out here.
Okay.
I'm asking for your sergeant for the last time.
And I'm asking
Get
for
your sergeant out
No.
here. Well, you
License-
ain't getting my.
License,
You ain't
registration,
getting my.
registration,
You ain't
proof-
getting nothing.
Okay, then I will arrest you for obstruction.
You do that, buddy, and I'll sue the Adams
Step out.
County.
Step
You
out.
got it.
Step out.
You better get a. I want a sergeant here.
Step out.
I want a sergeant
Step
here.
out, and you're gonna get tased.
You're gonna get paid.
Yeah, he's a Denver cop, or he's a Denver cop.
And
Really?
I know my rights too, buddy.
Okay. He said I was
So-
doing 85 and a 65, and he's just recording hypocrisy at its best. So then I asked him for his license registration because he pulled up on my traffic stop, and he wouldn't give it to me because he's a Denver cop and he knows his law, his rights. Denver Reserve. How exactly did he obstruct? Well,
That's what we got to clarify.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get it. He came up here. I was asking for all of his information. He was like, he's not giving it to me. He wanted a supervisor.
He was just video recording?
And then when I was asking,
did he walk up to your stop?
No. But then
you don't have obstruction.
But when I was trying to get his information here,
yeah. Right.
He wouldn't give me his information here. He wouldn't identify himself here. It's weak.
Yeah.
He was going about 80 miles an hour. I recorded it. And I want an apology from that guy.
Some of these guys, they forget that it's not against the law for someone to videotape your traffic stop. It's not against the law for them to pull on the side of the road. It's not against the law to make a comment. I will apologize for the sheriff's office. I'm sorry it happened. It shouldn't have happened.
You ought to know better.
So I will bite my tongue on that response, sir.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you in court.
Okay, sir. Have a great day.
I will bite my tongue on that response, sir. Called him sir. Yeah, he called him sir. Interesting. That's absolutely interesting that he called him sir. What do you think would have happened if he had been a black man? What do you think? He got an apology and he said, I want an apology. And he got an apology. Not only did he apologize for his own actions, he apologized on behalf of the entire sheriff's department. I ain't got no problem with that, but I do have a problem with the double standard. It's amazing how the police can code switch. It is amazing how they do that. But the reason they can do that, and the reason why they do that, is because their superiors will hold them accountable when they do it to people who look like them. That's right, I said it. They hold them accountable when they do it to people who look like them. This is the only reason why he apologized. They got a different code of conduct when they are dealing with black people. In their minds, hey man, do whatever you want to do to them, handle them, and I'll back you. The police ain't as tough as they act like they are. They only act tough because they're bullies. And I told y'all, bullies only strike when they have three things: size, weaponry, or numbers. In this case, they also have authority granted to them by their bosses. So it's a beautiful thing when you're able to hurt people and investigate yourself to determine whether you hurt them or not. This is the hierarchy we're under. Yeah, so don't try this at home, family. Don't try this at home because they've been given a mandate. They've been given a memo. Hey, man, when you're dealing with them, you deal with them like this, and then you deal with them like this, right? If they're this color, you deal with them like this. If they're this color, you deal with them like this. So they got two separate laws in place. But they got one law, but they got two separate ways in how they apply the law. They got separate ways in how they apply the law. And that duality is the reason why this country is going to hell in a handbasket. That's the reason why the police are, generally hate it. And they can't figure it out. Wait a minute. So you hate me because I treat you differently, I treat them better than I treat you, that ain't no reason to hate me. Well, it is a reason to hate me, but you don't get to hate me. I'm the police. Even if I kick you in your ass, you can't hate me. I'm the police. Bow down. That's what that is. Bow down. I can't be mad at the white folks who exercise their rights because they know they can. They know they get treated differently. They know that they can turn up and they can give the police the FU sign and talk about their rights and all that kind of stuff. And at the very least, they know they're not going to kill them. They know they're not going to get killed. You know, they might get roughed up a little bit, get the cuffs put on them or something like that. But you know what they're going to do after that? They're going to sue. And they're going to get paid because they're going to go before a grand jury. The grand jury going to say, yeah, stroke them a check, because grand jury see themselves in that person. Yeah, stroke them a check. And if it comes down to a criminal case, oh yeah, they absolutely, it's going to be, the grand jury is going to absolutely green light the criminal case. When it comes down to the civil, they're going to stroke the check for them. Because, hey, you know, they want to make sure if the police go that far with them, that they also get paid, that they also get some type of relief. So those double standards are well in place to protect and to control their behavior. They're not as tough as they appear to be. They know their beans from their cornbread. Just like America knows its beans from its cornbread, and they can run over there and talk about doing something to a country in Africa, but they won't dare try to do something to a country in Asia. Oh, they know better. They know their beans from their cornbread. So the only reason why the police, the white cops, ain't whooping on white folks and shooting them in the head and killing them illegally is because they know they're going to be held accountable. Make no mistakes, they have no heart. Because if you have a heart, you don't differentiate when you get to have a heart and when you get to have empathy. You know, you have empathy for people, period. You don't pick and choose who you're going to have empathy for, who you're going to have some respect for. See? So they're hiring uncivilized mutts in the first place. These are uncivilized mutts who have been given an order and a code of conduct. And this is why you don't see them violating white folks the way that they violate black folks and even other people. It's because they know they're going to be held accountable. Accountability is how you get justice. Accountability is how you get justice. So if there ain't no accountability, there ain't no justice, what you think gonna happen? There ain't no incentive to change the behavior. But he found out real quickly that police officer, that his superior, that sergeant, was like, yeah, let him go, put him in his place real quick, humbled him real quick. Yeah, he's one of us. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Act like you got some sense. Go over there, now get your ass over there and apologize. He ain't as tough as he act like he is now. Had that been a black person, he would have been even more aggressive. He wouldn't have allowed the sergeant to get there. He would have already handled it. Cuffs on, shot him, or whatever he wanted to do. Whatever he elected to do, he would have done it. But because he knew he was going to be held accountable, he showed restraint. He showed patience. Yeah. He's still a coward. You did see him cower, right? He's a coward. Family, now this story right here, I'm trying to see which one of these stories I want to tell next? Which one of these topics I want to cover next? Both of them are going to be good. I'm coming down the stretch strong. I'm coming down the stretch real strong. Both of these stories are really, really good stories. I'm trying to see which one do I want to come down the stretch with. Let's go down the stretch. Let's go down the stretch with Trump. We're gonna go down the stretch with Trump. We're gonna save Trump for last. Check this out, fam. Check this out. We got a little kid who is special needs. And this special needs kid has a special word that he likes to use. The N-word. Oh man, he loves to use the N-word. Now here's the thing. This kid was checked by this black guy who also checked the woman who he was with. I don't know if it was his grandmother or his caretaker or whoever. But in any event, he put the boy on blast and he put the woman on blast. And then, so I'm going to show you the video of that exchange first. And then we're going to get into the video of the boy's father. Okay? Check it out.
Tell the world what you just said, man. That's probably why you deformed. Make sure you tell your son to watch his mouth. He's using derogatory terms.
He's not my son.
Well, whoever he is.
He is a special needs.
Well,
You cannot make him stop.
he can stop saying that. How did he learn the word?
He learned it from people at school.
So why he
His
using
family
it?
doesn't talk like that.
So why he using it against other people?
He's special needs, sir.
But he
You
know.
understand that?
So why he knows to call me? Come on, man, get out of here. You're on camera.
You don't understand.
I don't
He
need to
has a
understand.
genetic disorder.
But he's smart enough
His
to
brain
know.
is not right.
But he knows where to use the word
Okay,
at
leave me alone.
and who to use it to.
Leave me alone.
Then get out of here.
I didn't say anything. I said Mickey Mouse.
I said magic.
Okay, fam. Okay. So you got the special needs kid who is using the N-word, and Buddy go off on him like, yeah, nah, he know you saying he's special needs and he don't know what he's doing or whatever, but he know how to call me the N-word. He ain't calling nobody else the N-word. He said he not calling anybody else the N-word. He calling me the N-word. He know right. He knows something. He got to know right from wrong. He know that much, right? When I was a kid in elementary, we had this special needs neighbor. My mama was friends with her mother, and the neighbor girl, she was special needs and she liked me. And she always come over and try to hug on me and stuff. I'd like, get off me, get away from me, get off me. So she would always try to like come around, like always trying to hug on me, like, right? So I could never get her to leave me alone. So one day I punched her in the gut, like in the side. I punched her in the side, fam, and that was the end of that. She never tried to hug me again. Now she was special needs. She was special needs. But after that, you know, she never tried to get up on me and like she was trying to hug on me. Not just hug me, she would try to kiss on me and stuff. So she kept on doing it. She kept on doing it. So one day I just caught her in the side like a bang. And that was it. She never tried it again. So I'm saying, you can be special needs and know what you're doing. You can have certain cognitive skills like, you know, that click in, you know, that kicks in. You know, and you know, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm not gonna do that. I do this, I'm not gonna do that. And then other things, you miss. Yeah. Yeah, Carly. Yeah, Carlisle. Yeah, I hit her with a I hit her with a kidney shot, I wonder whatever happened to that girl, But yeah, anyway, I learned being around special needs people that they know certain things. They do know, they know right from wrong about certain things. And the people who handle them, whether it's their parents or whether it's some other special caretaker, they guide them to tell them certain things are right from wrong. And, but you have to put the work in to get them to behave in a certain way. You have to put the work in. Sometimes they never get it, but oftentimes they do. It's just like when it comes to autistic kids, oftentimes. But this kid, apparently, he only would call Black people the N word. So, oftentimes when we hear about kids saying the N word, we think that they got it from their mama. They got it from their dad. Because we always say it starts at home. And most of the time it does start at home. But according to his father, that ain't where it started for him. According to the father, it started at school. He heard other kids at school using the word. So he started using the word. If you listen to the father, it doesn't seem like the father is the type to use that type of language. He doesn't seem like he approves of that language. And he went online to express his sentiments about his son speaking that type of way. And this is what he wrote.
Unfortunately, I used the N word several times in talking to a wonderful, sweet assistant teacher who just loves William to death, and she happens to be a woman of color. You're not going to use the N word?
No.
That's offensive, William. That's very hurtful to somebody when you use that word. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You can't repay her kindness by using the N word. It's just not acceptable. I'm open to any suggestions you may have as to how we improve this behavior. This cannot continue. We do not and will not allow William to make that derogatory comment to a wonderful woman.
So let's run that back.
I said midget.
Unfortunately, I used the N word several times in talking to a wonderful, sweet assistant teacher who just loves William to death, and she happens to be a woman of color. You're not going to use the N word?
No.
That's offensive, William. That's very hurtful to somebody when you use that word. Do you understand?
I'm throwing off right here because it sounds like he said, unfortunately, I used the N word. But then he goes on to talk about his son using the N word and how that's unacceptable.
Yeah. You can't repay her kindness by using the N word. It's just not acceptable. I'm open to any suggestions you may have.
I didn't say anything. I said Mickey Mouse.
I said midget.
Unfortunately, I used the N word several times in talking to a wonderful, sweet assistant teacher who just loves William to death, and she happens to be a woman of color. You're not going to use the N word?
No.
That's
Did y'all hear what I heard, fam? He said, unfortunately, I used the N word when talking to the woman of color. And then it cuts and it comes back and says, he tells his son, you're not going to use the N word. He asks.
Unfortunately, I used the N word several times in talking to a wonderful, sweet assistant teacher who just loves William to death, and she happens to be a woman of color. You're not going to use the N-word.
No.
That's offensive, William. That's very hurtful to somebody when you use that word. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You can't repay her kindness by using the N-word. It's just not acceptable. I'm open to any suggestions you may have as to how we improve this behavior. This cannot continue. We do not and will not allow William to make that derogatory comment to a wonderful woman.
See, that don't make sense to me. That don't make sense to me that he would admonish his son for using the N-word. But then he says, I use the N-word in talking to this lady. And woo, that don't make sense to me. In any event, Buddy got tore. He got scorched. Like, let me run that back one more time.
Tell the world what you just said, man. That's probably why you deformed. Make sure you tell your son to watch his mouth. He's using derogatory terms.
He's not my son.
Well, whoever he is.
He is a special needs.
Well,
We cannot make him stop.
he can stop saying that. How did he learn the word?
He learned it from people at school.
So why he
His
using
family
it?
doesn't talk like that.
So why he using it against other people?
He's special needs, sir.
But he
You
knows.
understand that?
So why he knows to call me? Come on, man, get out of here. You're on camera.
You don't understand.
I don't
He
need to
has a
understand.
genetic disorder.
But he's smart enough
His
to
brain
know.
is not right.
But he knows where to use the word
Okay,
at and
leave me alone.
who to use it to.
Leave me alone.
Then get out of here.
I didn't say anything. I said Mickey Mouse.
I said midget.
Unfortunately, I used the N-word several times in talking to a wonderful, sweet assistant teacher who just loves William to death, and she happens to be a woman of color. You're not going to use the N-word.
No.
That's offensive, William. That's very hurtful to somebody when you use that word. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You can't repay her kindness by using the N-word. It's just not acceptable. I'm open to any suggestions you may have as to how we improve this behavior. This cannot continue. We do not and will not allow William to make that derogatory comment to a wonderful woman.
So I'm confused, fam, because it sounds like to me he said I. Maybe he misspoke. It's a chance that he misspoke, because I know sometimes I misspeak, right? So perhaps he misspoke. I'm going to go ahead and give him the benefit of doubt, fam, just because I don't sound consistent with everything else he was saying. Like, he was praising this woman, talking about how wonderful she was and all this stuff like this, and then telling her son, hey, this ain't what we do. We don't get out like that. So everything was consistent except him saying I. So I'm going to go ahead and give Buddy the benefit of doubt that he misspoke. All right? I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt. He did say I. But I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt that he misspoke. But in any event, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is, whether he promoted the use of the N-word at his house, or whether, and the boy picked it up at home, or whether he actually picked it up at school. It is what it is. At the end of the day, the boy is still using the N-word. And here's a kid that even he's special needs, but still he understands the use of the N-word. He knows that. I believe that boy knows that that's wrong, that he's using that N-word. I believe that he absolutely is aware that he's using that word, and it is a disparaging word. It is a derogatory word. I do believe that he knows that. And he's using that word because he is saying it in a way so that he can hurt Black people. I do believe that he's using that word to hurt Black people and get under Black people's skin, because if he didn't know that it was a bad word, why do he only use the word? Why do he only direct the word to Black people? And also he knows that it's one thing if he directed, let's say he didn't know. If he didn't know that the N-word was a bad word, and let's say people was like, Every time he used the word on a black person, they smile and give him some candy. Well, damn, that must be, they like that word. But if they frown up, if they scowl, if they admonish him after using the word, if he gets in trouble for using the word, then he knows it's wrong. But he still only uses the word against black people. Oh, he knows. He absolutely knows what's going on. And that just goes to show you how toxic racism is, but also how toxic the N-word is. Because if he's not hearing that N-word somewhere, whether it be at school or whether it be at home, if he's not hearing it, he's not saying it. It's a really toxic word. And, fam, I still let it slip from time to time. And sometimes I absolutely say it in disgust. I say it and I use it in a way that is, I never, first of all, I never use the word in an affectionate manner. It's not a word of an affection to me. I use the N word the way I use the B word. If I use the B word, I'm saying it in a derogatory manner. It ain't no way that I'm looking at it like it's in a way that shows some type of affection. No, I use it for its intended purpose. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. It irks the hell out of me. The word irks the hell out of me, really. It irks me. I never even thought that I would be irked by the B word the way I am when I hear so many women calling themselves the B word. I was like, damn, they call themselves the B word more than any man that I've ever heard a woman call. Any man that I've ever heard call a woman the B word. A lot of these women today be calling each other the B word, and it's just all, and it doesn't matter the level of education. I'm not even talking about just women from the hood and the streets. I'm talking about women who got master's degrees. Well, because a bitch got to eat, because a bitch, and I'm like, damn, you a bitch? I heard an educated woman, like an educated woman, degreed, call her mama the B word. And her mama is a sweet woman. Nice, sweet woman. I'm like, damn. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's bad out there in these streets. Bad out there in these streets. Now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Donald Trump, your president, is slurring again. Yeah, fam. Donald Trump is slurring again. Donald Trump is slurring again, fam. Yeah, he went out bad, man. He went out bad. I was like, damn, Donnie, you're making us look bad, man. You out here, the world is watching. And you out here slurring words and stuff. Man, you're worse than Biden. Y'all know Biden couldn't pronounce America right. That's a big deal right now. He got a video clip of Biden out there talking about Americana or something like it. But he didn't say Americana. He said something where he was trying to pronounce America. It was bad, fam. I was going to show it, but I didn't want to give the Republicans any hope. They got a little slither of hope with Biden mispronouncing America. And boy, they couldn't wait to go in. And I'm like, why are y'all tripping on Biden so much? Biden is not the president. Biden is on his way out. Literally, he's about to check out. Why are y'all so preoccupied with Biden? Every time Trump does something bad, he does something wrong, and he's criticized, his trumpeters rush and say, what about Obama? What about Biden? What about your president of accountability? What about taking a little accountability? If I was the president, I wouldn't be talking about former presidents. It would be all about me and my presidency. I'm going forward, not backwards. Man, check out Donald Trump speaking with Melania on his side. And Melania, they said Melania was thinking about the Secret Service or something about the Secret Service. Anyway, check it out.
During this holy season, Christians everywhere rejoice at the miracle in Bethlehem more than 2,000 years ago when the Son of God, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, came down from heaven to be with us. You're right. Full of grace and truth, he brought the gift of God's love into the world and the promise of salvation for every person and every nation. And we just settled another war today. You saw that with Rwanda and the Congo. It's been going on for 34 years. Millions of people killed. Could be 20 million. They don't know what the number is, and we just settled it today. That was a big one. We're very happy to announce it on this important day. Tonight, this beautiful evergreen tree glows bright on the dark and cold.
What part of this is supposed to be the Christmas celebration?
Okay, fam. Family, how? Like, how? Why is he slurring his words like that? This is supposed to be the president that's in control. In control. This is supposed to be the guy that has it all together. This is the guy who they say is the closest to Jesus. Yeah, Jesus Christ. I'm surprised he said Jesus Christ and did not say it in a competition manner, like, because he really thinks that he's the second coming. Like, he thinks he's Jesus Christ. He had people bowing down to him, worshiping him as if he was some type of mythical character. You know, Sylvester Stallone said that he believed in mythical, he likes mythology. He loves mythology. And he looks at Donald Trump as if he's a mythical character. A mythical character. Really. Donald Trump is, it's time for Donald Trump to lay down. You know, he's been falling asleep. He's been slurring his speech. He's been falling asleep during press conferences. He even fell asleep when somebody was praising him. I couldn't believe he fell asleep when Mark Rubio was talking about him, praising him, glazing him. I couldn't believe he actually fell asleep, because usually when somebody's praising him, he just likes to take it all in, man. When they riding that scrotum, that we riding that scrotum, he just be taking it all in, and he loves it. But somehow, some way, he fell asleep when Mark Rubio was singing his praises. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. Trump supporters will support a ped before they admit they were wrong. They would. Let me tell you something too, fam. Nick Fuentes, Nick better watch his back. Nick Fuentes is too deeply embedded in Republican ideology, and he has too many interconnections with the Republican Party to be able to just go around and say the things that he says about Donald Trump and he not put himself in harm's way. Yeah. He better be extremely careful. And, you know, to be truthful, he better get him some extra security, because he's been going off for a minute now. In fact, he got off code before Charlie Kirk got off code. So he's been off code for a minute. He didn't even vote for Donald Trump. So you better believe that they got their eye on him. He's a stone cold-blooded Nazi, white nationalist. They need him. These are the people that they rock with. They need him. And he's out here saying all this stuff about Trump. Oh, yeah, man. That's going to be a problem. And Trump was one of the first ones to scream Sleepy Joe. Well, you know, Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Joe. Now they're calling him Drowsy Don. Drowsy Don. The boy can't stay awake for 10 minutes straight to save his life. He falling asleep. Every time he has a press conference, he in there. Yeah. Did y'all notice that? When Trump falls asleep, this is how he falls asleep. And this is how you wake up. Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Mark. Thank you. You're so kind. And thank you all for coming. It took longer than we thought it would take for us to get it together, but we got it together. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Mr. President, what's that on your arm? What's that bandage on your hand, on the back of your hand? What's that? Oh, why are you asking me about that? You know what? You're stupid. You're stupid. Get her out of here. Get it. You know what? Maybe I should take your license away. Maybe I should take who you work for. ABC? Maybe I should take the license away from ABC. How'd you like that? Then you wouldn't have a job. You wouldn't be able to talk bad about Trump. You start talking about himself in third person. Yeah, that's how you do. Trump, y'all. Trump sleep right here. Watch this. This Trump falling asleep. This is Trump falling asleep during a press conference. I take a 3-piece biscuit, strawberry soda, and some fries. Three-piece biscuit. You just wake up just. That's how you come back. That's how you come back from dozing off. If you don't change my diaper right now, I'm going to fire you, Mr. President. We're live. Yeah, well, I guess babies need diapers changed. I'm not a baby, but, we've all been a baby before and we know babies. I think babies are beautiful. Oh, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Trump, it's time to check out, man. Term limits. Yeah, I'm thinking now after taking that poll yesterday, most of you agree that term limits should start around 70, 75. I'm saying 70. Yeah, maybe 70. Only reason why I'm saying not 75 is because although I know people that are sharp when they're around 75, usually when you're around 75, you probably got about 10 more years. Average somewhere between that 10 years, you're probably gonna die. And I don't think that people who are close to checking out should be making plans for the future, for us, for the people, for the living. You know, I think that because a lot of people are selfish, and I'm talking about, it's a difference if we're talking about your home, right? If you're in your home, you're making plans for the living, you're making plans, you're about to die, you know you ain't got long, you're making plans, you want to carve out the future, you want to carve a path out, give your people some guidance, give your family some guidance. That's different. But we have too many uncivilized mutts in Congress who don't care about the people at all. They don't care about us. They're in there for themselves. So I think that they should get out in time to actually live to see some of the results, the consequences of their actions. I think they should live to see that. They should be able to see the consequences of some of their actions. They shouldn't be able to just throw everybody to hell and then die, die 3 or 4 days, fall ill 3 or 4 days before they die. You know what I'm saying? Fall ill 3 or 4 days before they die, and then they out of here. But coming up all the way up to death, all the way up to just days before their death, they're making calls that affect the living. It affects everybody. And I'm talking about specifically these congressmen and women who do not care about the people. They don't give a damn if the country burn. Like Trump is one of those people. Trump don't care if this whole country go to hell. He do not care. He only says he cares because he knows some fools out there that's going to believe it, and he gets to say that. And as long as he continues to say America first, as long as he continues to say America first, he can put America last. As long as he continues to say he's pro-police, he's pro-veteran, he can put veterans last. He can be anti-veteran. See, don't tell me about it, be about it. You dig what I'm saying? Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you're going to do. Don't tell me what you care about. Show me what you care about. So a lot of what he says he care about, his actions represents the antithesis of that. Yeah, I'm not with that. I'm not with that. This dude, pretty much everything you hear Trump say, the truth is the reverse. Put the truth on the opposite. And that's what Trump really thinks. And that's what he's really doing. Whatever he says he's doing, the truth is the opposite. Whatever he says he care about, the truth is the opposite. And if he accuses you of doing something, more than likely he's guilty of that exact same thing. What's up, T. Gallagher? African Native, what up? China Carter, what it do? Buckhorse, DC. Change that DC to 10. I know that's you. Connie, what's up, Connie Harch? Marcus changed. Bobby Martin, Kendrick Ballard. What it do, y'all? What it do, Antoinette? What it do, I decided to live today. Kevin, what's up, Kevin K? What is that? Kevin KB? Ball Trip. Ball Trip Senior. It's a cold name right there, Ball Trip. He got one of them names where you put the name on the mailbox. Ball Trip. Right, but that's a ball trips over there. Bobby Martin. Dragon Fang says there should be no cash benefits from being a public servant. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that. Public servants got to eat too. Their family got to eat. You know, if you're a public servant and you're putting in a considerable amount of time a day, then, you know, time is money. That's time away from your family. You know, time away from, you know, you being able to do something for yourself. You know, that don't make a whole lot of sense to go out and serve everybody else and you don't serve yourself. You know, the first law of nature is self-preservation. I have no problem with public servants earning a living wage. What I have a problem with is public servants throwing us under the bus and abusing the system to pad their pockets and to advance their lifestyles. That's my problem with public servants. I have a problem with them throwing us under the bus for corporate interest. That's my problem with public servants. Well, at least many of them. That's my time, fam. I see you just bullish. What it do? Who is that? Carlos? What up, Carlos? All right, fam, that's my time. I appreciate y'all. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. No more talk.